In the last video, we created this really nice ticket system. However, if you've been working on this, you will notice that as you keep adding new things to your bot, like if you want to add ticket logs, transcripts, and you just want to store information in general, you're going to need some type of way to store old ticket information and add new information to it. So we need some type of way to store that. Now, that either could be done through a database, through a JSON file. There's a few different other ways. I highly recommend using a database just because that's good practice, and that is what I'm going to show you today. So the first step is we need a database. We need some type of table inside of a database to store tickets, and each row represents a ticket where we can fetch information based on the channel ID of the ticket and then add new information in, store transcripts, store when it was opened at, stuff like that, and I'll show you guys exactly what we'll be storing. So if you already have some type of database, whether that be through a hosting service, I know a lot of hosting services like PebbleHost gave a free SQL database like with the plan. I know, there's different ways to get databases. If you already have one, that's great. You can also host them locally on your server through WAMP host or WAMP server. Yeah, WAMP server. So if you choose to do that, completely fine. If you already have a database, skip to the timestamp on the screen right now. These next, few minutes will kind of show you how to get a free SQL database hosted through this website that we're on right now. So yeah, there are a few different types of databases, but for this, we're going to be using MySQL databases just because it's what I'm most familiar with. And then the website to actually get a database for us, we'll be using freesqldatabase.com. It's a really nice website, and I just found it not too long ago, and it'll give you a free SQL database. Now it is pretty limited. You can scroll down and see the different plans. The free, you have one database. The space starts at 5 megabytes. It does use phpMyAdmin, which I am familiar with, which is nice. But it is pretty nice. If you don't need something crazy, it's just like on a small server or whatever, this will probably be fine for you. If you want to upgrade, I think this is honestly a little expensive for a SQL server. There's probably better options out there, but let's just go through the free option. So you're gonna go ahead and click sign up, and it'll take you through a full sign up process. Anyways, through the sign up process, you have to activate your email, you have to put in some information, you have to create an account, stuff like that. But once you've created an account, you've confirmed your email and stuff, you'll be directed to this page, and this is where you actually create your database. So the first thing is you want to select your server location, choose whatever is closest to you to have that lower latency. Let's choose North America East, and we'll save location. And then once that is saved, we need to come down here and start new database. So click start new database, and then boom, we have our one free database right here, and all the information is here. The password we'll get there in a second, and then you want to look at this link where it says follow this link for phpMyAdmin. Click on that and it will redirect you to phpMyAdmin.co, and then right in here you want to place the login information that's given you. Okay, after a little bit of waiting, you can see the database password. Check your emails. So the password is actually in our email. If we go over to email, we can see all of our information here. So this is the information that we'll place into phpMyAdmin. So what do we need? We need the server first. So that is the host right here. We're just going to copy this. The username is the database user, sorry. The password is the database password. Okay, and then here we are into phpMyAdmin for our SQL server. So over here on the left, you can see information schema, don't worry about that. And then we have our database right here. So if we click on it, that'll bring us to our database, and we can start creating tables. So like I said, we need a table that will hold all our tickets. So we need a table called tickets, and you can use this for other stuff, but we're using it for just tickets. So the number of columns, so right now we're only going to put 4 values or 4 columns for each ticket that's placed in, and that'll be the channel ID, the type of ticket it is, who opened the ticket, their ID, and then also when it was opened. This is the only information that you need to store when a ticket is created. Now when it's closed, you're going to want to store other information such as transcript, when it was closed, who it was closed by, even you could store the name of the ticket channel if you have a rename command, stuff like that. For now, we're just going to use 4 columns, and let's use this. So go ahead and press go, and let's create our columns. So first one will be the channel ID, and I'm just, for simplicity, we're going to use varchar 250 for each of these. If you're more familiar with data types, feel free to change these specifically, like channel ID probably should be integer, but I'm going to use this all varchar. So we're going to have channel ID. We're also going to have owner ID. We're going to have opened at, and then ticket underscore type. Okay, and then we're good. We can go ahead and press save. And now we have our tickets table. Once this finishes, there we go. So here's our ticket. We can go ahead and browse and we can look at it. Browse over here. And we can see when we select start from tickets, which just grabs all the different rows and tickets, we can see our different columns here, and there's no rows below because we haven't placed anything. So let's go ahead and just test out, make sure it works, and let's try to insert some information into here. So if you want to make queries, you can go ahead and press SQL here at the top. And we can do, if you're not familiar with SQL language, I'll try to teach it as much as I can. But I would recommend watching some type of basic, SQL introduction, because it is like essentially its own programming language. There is a lot of syntax that goes behind it. But yeah, I'm going to try to do my best to explain, but I can't promise anything. So in order to insert something into a table, we're going to say insert. And this will automatically fill all into this. So it'll be insert into tickets, and then you're going to have parentheses, values, and another parentheses. So the first parentheses holds all the different fields. You have to type them, or all the different columns, sorry. You have to type them out each time. So channel underscore ID, open dat, and ticket type. And then you're going to say values in all caps, and then more parentheses with the different values separated by commas. So we can go ahead and insert, let's say, a channel ID of whatever, and we're gonna pass as a string, owner ID, whatever. This is just sample to make sure that it actually works. Open that, and this will be in timestamps, so we'll insert the time.time or the datetime.utcnow.timestamp, whatever. We're gonna be inserting a datetime timestamp here, or a Unix value, or the amount of seconds since the epoch. We'll be inserting that here, so we can grab that and convert it to manipulate it in a datetime object of any type that we want. So we can go ahead and just do, I don't know what the current epoch is, but I'm just gonna put random numbers. And then ticket type, we'll just say general support. And then now if I go ahead and just press go, see if it works, hopefully, and boom, one row inserted. So now if we go back to browse, we can see now we have a row. The first row, this represents a ticket that's been opened. This is the channel ID, the owner ID, the Unix timestamp of when it was opened, and then the ticket type. This is perfect. Let's now go make this work in our actual code. So in Visual Studio Code, you can see this is what we wrote last episode on the advanced ticket system, and now we want to work on actually implementing every time a ticket is created, we place that information on the ticket, like when it was opened, all the stuff that we just created, into the database so we can retrieve it later. So first thing that we're going to do is import two different things. The first thing is the package that we're going to be using to actually connect and manipulate the SQL database, which is import MySQL.connector. If you don't have this, you might have to install this on your system if you don't already have it. And then also I'm going to import time, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, so down here under the create ticket function, we've added a new comment, which is insert ticket information to database. That is the next step of this, the whole thing around this video, what we're trying to do. So this is very object oriented, which means we're gonna have to create two separate objects and kind of manipulate it with methods of that object. So the first thing that we're gonna do is create an object for our database. This is going to actually represent, our database in a sense. So we can call this whatever. I'm just gonna call it DB for short. And we're going to DB is equal to MySQL.connector, what we just imported, and we do .connect, and you can see it takes in a quotes or keyword arguments for all the different parameters that we use to connect to it. So this is very, very similar to what we use to connect on phpMyAdmin. It's like all the same stuff, but we're just going to add two more things on it. So first thing, we're going to do host. We're also going to do password. We're going to do, what else there? The database. We're going to add, so one of the things that we're going to add is a port. That's also in the email. And then, before I forget, we also need a user. Forgot that. And then the last thing that we want is auto commit is equal to true. Now, the reason that I do this, if you didn't have this enabled, what you'd have to do is, let's say we make a query right here. Every single time you'd make a query, you'd have to run db.commit. Or at least commit after every time you're done like making all your queries, you can commit all that information. Because remember, this is just an object, so this information is only stored inside of our program. In order to actually commit it back to the database that we connected to, we need to run this. But that all is solved if we set auto commit equal true. So it just helps out your life and makes your life easier, in my opinion. So yeah, that should be everything. Let's go ahead and get this information from our email and place it in here. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put in my information into the parameters here. We have our host, the user, the password, database, port, and auto commits. All of that standard straight from the email. One thing is the port, I believe for everyone is going to be 3306, because I think that's the default port for SQL servers, like in general. If you change it, then this will be different, but it's my understanding, I could be wrong, that everyone will have 3306, and everyone also should have auto commit true on. And then this host, I believe this number will be different based on location, but yeah, all this information should from email. Okay, so now we have the object for the database. Now we want to create another object for the cursor. Now, I probably don't have the best way to explain this, but essentially the cursor is like the tool that is going to allow us to create queries into SQL, if that makes sense. Yeah, I can't explain it great, but just understand you're gonna have to have a cursor, and every time you want to execute a query, you're gonna run cursor.execute. So yeah, or if you want to like fetch rows, you see cursor.fetch all to get all the rows from your query if you're selecting, stuff like that. Anyways, go ahead and create our cursor. So cursor is equal to db.cursor, and then the only thing that I would pass in here is dictionary is equal to true. And then we can now create our query. So we're going to say cursor.execute, and then literally all we're going to do is go back over to phpMyAdmin, go over to SQL, and just grab that same exact, little test insert that we had and paste that right into Visual Studio Code. So we're going to copy this whole thing, go back, place quotes, paste it in, boom. And then all we have to change are the values at the end. So what we're going to do is first, let me make this an F string so we can place in values. And then we're going to place 4 different brackets, and then it's good practice to surround them with these single quotes. That's just convention. Okay, so now what do we want to put? So the first one will be channel ID, which as you can see we have channel up here, so we can just do channel.id. And then we have the next one is owner ID, which in this case is interaction.user.id. Then we have when it was opened at. So for this is why we imported time. We're gonna say time.time. And then we have the ticket type, which in this case is selection. You can see that's what we called it at the top of this method. Okay, and that's pretty much everything. We can go ahead and test this out. So run our bot, load this, and no errors. That is good. Let's go and test this out. /send message or send ticket, sorry. Press general support, make sure everything works fine, looking good. Go over to our console, there's no errors, so let's go ahead and check it out. Go over to phpMyAdmin, press browse, and hopefully we'll see our new ticket in here. There we go. This is a new row which represents our ticket. This is the channel ID, and just I guess if you want to prove it, you can copy all of this information right across. And then you can see if we use the convention for Discord for channels, which is left bracket hashtag, you can see this is a direct link to our ticket. Or if I see the mention, this is my mention, that's my ID. This is the current epoch. If you want to Google that and check it, you can. And general support is the type of ticket that we opened. So you can see it's working. This is all information on this ticket that we created, and it was placed into the database right away. So yeah, this has been kind of the introduction to databases, how to get your own database, how to insert information when a ticket is created. And then in the next episode, we're going to work on fetching that information and potentially working on a close command, which will allow us to close tickets, get a transcript stored in the database, store other information like that, like we closed it, stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what the next couple of videos in this ticket series should be, because I have a lot of different ideas. I can make a ton of videos on this, but I'd like to make videos that you guys would like. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, if you ever need help with your code, I recommend joining my Discord server down below, looking at the code help thread, which has a bunch of different threads for people to post their code. And if you just need a little help or you just want to talk or chat anything, that is all here as well. So yeah, join that. The link for that is down in the description, along with the source code for this whole video will be down in the description, all of that down there. Comment if you like this, like the video if you like this, subscribe if you want to keep seeing, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.